Blink Twice is a new film directed by Zoe Kravitz in her directorial debut. When tech billionaire Slater King meets cocktail waitress Frida at his fundraising gala, he invites her to join him and his friends for a dream vacation on his private island. Wild nights soon blend into sun-soaked days, but when strange things start to happen, Frida must uncover the truth if she hopes to make it out alive. I really didn't know what to expect going into this one. The trailers have been purposefully subtle, and the marketing has been very lax about details, which I kind of appreciate for a film like this. If you're going into a psychological thriller that has a lot of mystery around it, it's more fun to go in blind and uncover that as you watch more than it is if the trailer just kind of revealed everything. And that's why this is so effective in terms of its brutality and graphic nature. Perhaps that's why I walked away from this one so affected. One moment it's very lighthearted yet also creepy and sinister in tone. The next is a pure, unescapable nightmare that you really desperately so want to leave. Every moment it gets more and more brutal and more graphic, but you just can't look away. Naomi Ackie stars as Frida, who is an incredibly charismatic and likable main character to follow here. Her dramatic vulnerability is on full display here. It's absolutely impressive. She's one of the best performances of this film by far. Each moment we fear for her and we fear with her, because not only do we watch her go through this, but Kravitz places the viewer directly in her point of view in several sequences where you really feel like you're there with her, and the horror and brutality on display feels so much more effective and immersive just because you're in her point of view. You're experiencing as she's experiencing it. And it's those moments that truly highlight the effective nature of some of the more brutal moments of this film. And Channing Tatum is terrifying here. Casting someone who's usually so charismatic and likable in many of like the rom-coms and action films that he's known for in the past as this kind of sinister and creepy character is such a great touch, because as audience members we can't help but go in feeling like he's going to be very vulnerable and charismatic, because that's what we come to expect and associate with Channing Tatum and his performances. But the moment things turn and the moment he starts to reveal his true colors and the puzzle pieces click together little by little, it's so much more effective and so scary almost to watch him turn. Adrina Adorno is also great in a supporting role as the mystery begins to unravel slowly and slowly. Her presence with Ackie on screen is just so great, and she's definitely one of the highlights of this film. Her performance by far is probably the best part of this film, if I had to be honest with you. The supporting cast is also fun, but they don't really have anything memorable or substantial to do here. They show up for bit sequences here and there and scenes here and there throughout, and they don't really leave a lasting impact. They're not doing anything really dramatically needed. They're just kind of there. And it's fun to watch them, but I can't say they add too much to the overall film, if I'm being honest with you, because they kind of don't. The direction by Kravitz is truly impressive. For a directorial debut, she really has a sense of nuance behind the camera. The way the cinematography and editing complement each other and building tension is really impressive, and the way characters in certain sequences seem to interact with the camera is genius, and it's such a great dramatic choice. The sound design is also intense and really sets the tone, alerting the audience to be on edge throughout, because I know I was. The sound design plays such an important role in affecting the tension here. It's really well done. The script in particular isn't anything to write home about. It feels quite lazy and uninspired, and the pacing overall just feels quite off for a film that's supposed to be this like thrilling mystery ride all the way through. Some of the choices that characters make throughout can seem kind of frustrating in hindsight, because they react like kind of you would expect horror movie characters to, like the generic like trope of like, oh, people in horror movies don't know how to survive. That's kind of on display here in certain sequences. It can make it feel like more non-grounded and like over the top in those scenes, but overall it's not too overt where it's kind of distracting overall. And it's not quite as original as you might expect, which is kind of a positive and a negative here. On the plus side, there's some clear influence in terms of film that it's drawn from here. From like Glass Onion to The Shining to other films that are like psychological thriller, this draws clear influence from those films with ease. There's certain sequences in here that I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a direct reference to that, or that reminds me of that. But that's my also problem with this film, is that when you draw too much on those conclusions and those references, at what point do you start moving towards self-parody than you do making your own thing in your own path moving forward? The sequences that really reminded me of that really didn't take me too much out of it, but it also reminded me of how non-inspired some portions of this film are. I really wish it had paved its own path, been something more unique and original that we haven't seen before, because a lot of the tropes and plot beats here feel like they've been tread on in the past way too often with way too many other films. I really wish it had this kind of like own creative flair to it. Overall, though, I don't think it detracts from the film as a whole. Overall, it's quite an interesting film. I can confidently say that it is unlike anything I've seen all year. It doesn't quite work all the way, and it's sure to be a divisive film for many specific reasons, but I enjoy my time with it for the most part. It's very fun, it's very eerie, it's very creepy, and walking into a psychological thriller, that's all you can ask for, honestly. That's why I'm giving Blink Twice a 73 out of 100. Blink Twice releases in theaters everywhere next Friday, August 23rd. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. If you're new to my channel, as always, please do not forget to click that subscribe button down below, like the video, and turn on push notifications to be notified whenever new videos drop on my channel. That being said, until next time, this is Mitchell signing off. Peace out.